All right, well, let's start out with camping, like making a camp reservation. Deanne, tell us how we go about that. You mentioned there are a couple different ways to do it.
Yeah, so if you go to our website, cpcbsa.org, you can either sign up by following the links here to different events. And on each event page, there'll be a button that says make your reservation that will take you directly to our reservation system. Or on this blue bar up here under members, you can go to log in and it'll take you to the login page for the Tenaroo reservation. And then you're going to use your unit account to make a reservation for to make any kind of reservations. You're going to use the unit account. If you don't know your unit account number, you can call me and I'll be happy to provide that for you. Every unit in the council has been assigned an account, so please don't duplicate by creating a second account. If you don't know it, just call us and we can help you with that. Personal accounts, you can create your own personal account, but you're not going to have, that's for doing like wood badge or events that are just one-on-one, but anything for the troop, you must use the unit account. So once you sign in to the account, you're going to see this sidebar over here that has home, events, facility, and cart. At the top on this blue bar, it says events and then my trips. Events, this one is related directly to any event that you select here. What populates in the center here is what you currently have scheduled. If you click on events, this will show you all of the current available events for reservations. It's under available events.
Can you scroll through that just slowly here and talk a
Oh,
little bit
sure.
about the different kinds of events? Because we have events and facilities, which we're going to talk about separately here. So as we mentioned, we'll do a couple different versions. We'll focus on summer camp right now, and then we'll talk about the off-season reservations and doing other events. But if you can scroll through, I see we've got horse rides and jamboree.
Yes. Yeah. So there's horse rides, jamboree. This is a district event. Not all district events are in here, but oftentimes a district requests that they're in here to be registered for. National Youth Leadership Training, OA events, summer camp down here at the bottom. So you can select any of those events to make a reservation. And then the next tab over here is all upcoming events. And this populates all of the available events plus anything that has not yet been turned on for registration. And it has a little explanation or a date that is going to open in orange on here. So this wood badge is not yet opened. It opens on November 1st. And then my events is next, what you're currently signed up for. And past events are all the things that this unit has previously registered for if you're looking for a history. So let's go back to available events. And Chris, would you like me to walk through summer camp
Yeah,
reservation?
let's do that. I know
Okay,
that our troop already has one, but let's just pretend we
okay.
don't.
So let's say you're going to go to Camp Baldwin 2022. So you click on it and it's going to show the title first of what's here. Over here on the left-hand side, it's there's the location information. That gives you where it's at. And then our information over here, and then the contact information. So there are 5 sessions for Camp Baldwin, one right here, and it gives you in orange some instructions. So you can click, let's say we're going to register for Baldwin session 1. Okay. Baldwin session 1 is actually closed. I apologize. Let's go to Baldwin session 2. And the date is up here that session is happening, July 17th to the 23rd. The base pricing for the females and the males and the adults. And then light gray here, it tells you how many spots are currently available for each one. If you want to, you click register for this event, and then you're going to add how many girls or girls and boys each need to be on their own reservation under their own unit number. So there should not ever be on girls and boys on the same reservation. So let's say we're going to do boys. Let's do 10 boys and 2 adults. And then if you have any mobility that you'd like to share in here, questions or requests you can put in here. Primary event contact, you can either click this button to copy from the profile and it'll pull it directly over. Or if you have somebody who's not on your profile that you want to add on here, you can add their information here as well. And then they will get, once you have their email and their name, both these people will receive all of the electronic communications that happen that are associated with this reservation. And next, when you're making the reservation, only when you're making the reservation the first time, can you put in your request for what campsites you want, your top 3. These are not guaranteed, but we try our hardest to accommodate as much as we can. So let's say we're going to choose Barlow, Bear Springs, and Blue Box. And if you notice across here, we're following this sequential steps. We're on number 3, the confirmation. So we're all done. It's $10 per youth to hold this reservation. So I hit complete. And then it puts it in my cart up here to be checked out. I need to pay for it. The reservation's not held in place until the minimum payment is made. So you can click checkout, and then it will take you, scroll down, and then you can make your payment for that to lock that reservation in.
Gotcha. Now, on the campsites, what if I have not seen them? Is there a way to see the campsites? And
yeah, great question. So let's go back. There's a little hamburger right here. So you click on this and it pushes that sidebar out. Click home whenever you need to start over. So it brings you back to that main screen. This is what's already reserved. This is in the cart waiting for me to pay for it. If you want to see, you can go under facilities. We're in the process of this. So let's say, let's go to Camp Baldwin. And we chose, what did we choose, Chris? What was the first one? Did I choose Barlow?
I think so, yes.
So you can click here, and there's some pictures, and it kind of tells you the size of the camp, 13 2-person tent platforms, and you can scroll through some pictures to view what that campsite looks like. This is just kind of a side note, I guess. So this is just a way to view those extra things if you wanted to.
And this is something new that you guys have been working on very recently, of just trying to upload images of the campsites so people can kind of get a little gist as to what's yes. there, and which is really great. So that's really kind of a new feature for those of you who have not logged in recently. You'll actually see this. So it's a really, really nice little feature that's been added.
We haven't quite got through all the camps. Hopefully we'll have them all done shortly. So if you go back to this little hamburger up here, back to home, and brings you right back to the center where you made that reservation. So if I need to work with this reservation at any point, if I go to home, it's in this rectangular, it's collapsed right here. If I click on that rectangular box, it will expand it. So now I'm looking at the expanded reservation for Baldwin Session 2. I can scroll down, and then I have an option that I can manage this reservation if I need to. So if I need to manage it, I can go in and I can change how many. Let's say I don't want 10 youth anymore. Any changes I make, whether they involve money or not, will always be put into the cart, and you have to check out and complete that checkout process in order for those changes to stick. So then you go to next, next, and then complete. And then my changes will be there as long as I check out, which I still have money here. Let's just get rid of that. I apologize. Oh.
But that makes sense. That's actually pretty easy. So it stays in the cart until we actually check out. We can change the spots and whatnot. So thinking of a unit who is going through this with your parents and with your scouts, you can kind of decide, and you can always change that too in terms of number of scouts and adults registered. This is sort of to hold our place, right? So if we need to change the numbers later, we can totally do that by, I'm assuming, do we call or do we log into here? So like for us, for instance, we've got our Meriwether reservation, and can I change that?
So prior to March 1st, you can make any kind of reductions on your own. And additions as long as there is space. If there's not space available, you see how I always tell you how much space is here. Please call us, because oftentimes we might be able to work you in. We do have a active wait list that we keep for any changes that we try to get everybody into it. So if there's not space available, give us a call. We'll work through that and try and help you out as best we can. But prior to March 1st, you can definitely make reductions on your own and changes on your own. After March 1st, you can as well. But any reductions you make after March 1st, there will be a $100 drop fee added per youth on the reservation as you make that reduction.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's super helpful. So March 1st is a great deadline for everybody to remember. All of us parents and leaders to remember to double check the number of youth and adults that are coming. That's probably a really wise thing to do.
So under registration here, there's manage. We just looked at how to change your spots, but this is also equally as important as this reports tab. So if you click on this reports tab, it's going to give you several options. If you click on invoice, you know what? I'm going to have to push this through. So we're not going to be able to do anything. I'm sorry.
That's right. So there are some, that's interesting. So with our reservation that would be paid, we can actually send ourselves an invoice. So for instance, our Meriwether one, right? So we've got Meriwether in there.
Let's look at Meriwether. So you go to reports, you can look at your invoice, and it shows you, it breaks down the invoice into 3 sections. The billing information at the top, the registration fees. You have 9 kiddos registered at $464, and then 3 adults. 2 of them are free. 1 is at this rate. And then the payment history. So anytime you make a payment, it's going to just chronologically log underneath this until you reach the payoff amount right here at the 400. The total cost of this reservation is $4,269. So you can always have that to view. And then also there's a participation roster, which you cannot add names to the reservation until after May 1st. But once you add names, you can click on this participation roster, and it looks like this, but it will populate all of the names that you've added to this reservation. Those are the 2 main reports that we use out of there.
Well, that's great. That's really, yeah, that's handy. Don't have to manually bring one, and then we can just print it out and bring it with us or whatnot. And okay, great.
So if you go back home, over here on this side, there are 3 buttons that are or selections, I guess. So if number 1 is the manage your profile. So if you go to manage profile, this is troops 107's profile. The primary contact is Chris Bartell, and this alternate is also Chris Bartell. But you as a unit person can manage this information. So you can click on the contact and update this if you go, gosh, our treasurer really should be getting all this communication as well as me. You can add that information here. So, and then whoever is on the alternate and the primary will always get any kind of communications, receipts, payment information that is done in the reservation. So it's important to keep that current because oftentimes leadership changes and it hasn't been updated. And then we're sending things to people who aren't interested anymore. And then manage my group. This is where you can build a roster that lives in the background that you can pull from to add to events. So this isn't who's on, this is just my roster that I can pull from when I'm adding it to my event. It is not linked to anything. It's not linked to scouting. It doesn't, so you can, you just add a youth, you put all their information in here. And then
and do we need to just, I see required, there's just first and last name. Is there any reason we should have the other contact information in there or whatnot?
I think it's, yes. Date of birth is, I believe, required as well. And then some kind of emergency contact information is always valuable in here for everybody, because when we populate those rosters, it's going to pull this contact information too. So if there's anything that happens, we can contact those people.
Oh, excellent. That's a really good, super good point. And the beauty is we can do this. We're all in rechartering territory right now, so we can actually add that really at our leisure, which is really nice. So I noticed there's a bunch of kids in here who've not been in for a while, and so I can actually go in now
Yeah.
and I can edit those out and all
Yeah.
of that,
So
right? So
tell me a kid who's not in here now that you would like to get.
well, here we'll take out Josiah. So he's because he's my eldest kid who's now in college. We can get him
Okay.
out of there.
So if
So
you
click on
click
that.
on Josiah, you can just easily delete him and you remove him from that roster.
Great. And then we can just add and update that with our current troop or pack roster and things. So that's really great. Super nice.
And then so that was manage your profile, manage my group, and then view your previous orders. This is all of the transactions that have happened in this account. So if you're looking for an old receipt to be reimbursed for something, you can scroll down and go, oh gosh, I needed this one. I can click on it, generate that receipt, and here it is. You can print it.
Well, that's great. That's really good to know. Awesome. All right. Is there anything else when it comes to summer camp? We're going to go into some of the other options as well in terms of off-season camping and other events in some other videos here. So is there anything else on summer camp that we need to know about? It seems pretty straightforward, actually. And I like that. Something that I think is a really nice feature is knowing how many spots are available at different times, at different sessions. So if I've got a really large troop or a small one or a large pack, small one, then I can see, oh, there aren't only so many spots available. We better jump into this other session. I really think that's super handy.
Yes, I'm sure feel free to call me at any point if you have any questions. I'll be happy to expand in more detail about things. But yes, that's the process.
Great. And the number is always right there, right to the right over there.
Right
Very nice.
here. Yes. Thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Well, this is great. Thank you so much for this one. And we'll do some other videos for off season and for other events. Great.